Well, it's never a dull day covering the Cleveland Browns here in the great area of Northeast Ohio. You can't even, you feel like this game this weekend wasn't going to have much to it, with maybe Dylan Gabriel playing, maybe not. No Shadur, he's now hurt. This whole quarterback room is hurt. Boy, oh boy, it never ends. It helps our show.
Yeah.
That's great. But fandom, we are put through the test for sure. We'll get into all of that right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network, partnered with LPV Productions, brought to you by our friends at Greeny Sports Cards. And I'm not going to drag this out at all. We're just going to do it right off the top. I'm going to throw it to my buddy, my pal, Ryan Mosser, to my left. It doesn't look like that on the screen, probably. I don't even know what the screen looks like right now. But Ryan, you have our winners for the Muni Lot Kids cards, courtesy of Greeny Sports Cards, and of course, Reflog and all the people at Big Play that helped put them together. More of those cards to come, but the first initial set that was put out there on social media, make sure you reach out to Greenies, figure out how you can get them. But drum roll or whatever, who gets a chance to win these right now on the show?
Yeah. All right. So the first winner, her name is Shannon. It's at Waloo24, WALOO24. So Shannon, I will message you privately and we'll get your address and we'll send those out to you. Congratulations. Like I said, thank you, courtesy of Greenies. And the second one is a person named Rebecca Browand, at Becky71785. Once again, I will message you as well. You have won these as well, courtesy of Greeny Sports Cards. And once again, we just wanted to reiterate how grateful we are for Greeny's to be a sponsor and for them to provide all these wonderful giveaways. And we actually still have some more, to come. So can continue to follow along, and you have an opportunity to win some really cool stuff.
So greenysportscards.com, always reach out to them for that. They have the Kirtland show. Kirtland show is coming up. They have one of their big pop culture, Pokemon and sports shows coming up. Medina County, I think it's Medina County Fair. That's going to be coming up in the month of September. So a lot of big things going on. If you need to know anything about them, greenysportscards.com.
Yep.
Let's just jump right in because boy, oh boy, the last 2 hours has been
crazy.
Has been news filled. I was figuring come in and react to the injury prone quarterback room and what you're looking for from Dylan on Saturday. We'll get to all that. But the title of the show is Let's Go Camping, and we're in training camp, so any news around it still involves training camp. Let's go most recent to and on down. Let's start there. So just a few minutes ago, it was announced that Isaiah Bond, the wide receiver out of Texas who went undrafted due to alleged sexual assault, a case ongoing, legal troubles for him, went undrafted, was a potential early day two, I think. From your perspective, you're more of the
for sure
prospect and where guys were going to go. Definitely has 4.3 speed. Pretty good wide receiver. I know the numbers didn't look as good at Texas last year. His comp, I think I just saw scrolling through Twitter real quick. Jalen Waddle is a comp for him.
That'd be amazing if we have Jalen Waddle.
It's going to take him a while to get up to speed. He hasn't been in any of the offseason program or even training camp, and this team has been much more physical in training camp. But as soon as the charges were no build, which means that a grand jury said that basically means there's not enough evidence to pursue charges, it was immediately after that he puts out his own statement on social media. It is a long statement. I'm not going to go through and read it, but basically is thanking the Cleveland Browns for giving him an opportunity. I've seen kind of conflicting things on whether the deal is finalized or not. I think Adam Schefter said no finalized deal, but the conversations are, it appears he's going to be with the Cleveland Browns. And if he's posting that on his social media, his conversation with his agent and the Browns, it most likely, you see an announcement from the Browns at some point that they've signed wide receiver Isaiah Bond. Again, someone that had legal troubles around them. The charges have been, they're not going to be pursued. It's that terminology is no build. Again, not enough evidence. So you have that. Then someone else in legal trouble that we haven't even signed yet, drafted in the second round. Everybody thought would be the bell cow back. As Ohio State fans, we were all excited. And then, it was a month or two ago, month and a half.
Yep.
Down in Florida, alleged domestic violence charges were being pursued against Quinshon Judkins, against his ex-girlfriend or whoever put those statements. Situationship, I think is the new term for that. So alleged domestic violence. They're not going to pursue those charges down there. I do have some more details on that, and I was sending these over to people on shows they call me the man in the box at the radio station, because while a show's going on, I'm in the next room. You could see me through the window, and if I see something before the producer does, I'll text them information, and
there you go.
Kind of just help the teamwork and all that kind of stuff. So but I'm a quiet partner, so I'm the man in the box. Whatever, I don't really care. But Andy Slater was one of the people to report this about Quinshon. Andy Slater is a talk show host, on-air personality, and works at Fox Sports 640 in South Florida. And he was one of the first, along with Jordan Schultz from inside the NFL. But he said that Quinshon Judkins will not face any formal charges from the alleged incident in South Florida. Prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. He goes on to say that this decision was based on several factors, including late reporting on the alleged incident to police, no surveillance video, and no independent witnesses. The state attorney says there were videos seen during the same time frame that didn't show the victim with injuries. So take that information. Sure. That's just what's out there.
And remember, that doesn't, just because they're not going to pursue charges, that doesn't mean that the NFL is still not going to complete their investigation and possibly seek a suspension or some other form of what they deem a punishable offense. So stay tuned. But this does mean that it looks like things will progress, so they'll move forward. It looks like he'll be signing hopefully soon, and get into practice, because we're coming down to he's supposed to be a very important part of this team, and we need to figure out if what we have in this guy. We need to get him in practices. It could be very, very detrimental for him to miss complete his first OTA. It could be really, really bad. So we just need to get him in, get him practice, get him in the system, start learning, and just start just pouring what we can. But the first thing we got to do is to get him signed. So
yeah, and like you said, I know immediately people were all excited because there's no charges against him. But Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com even said, as of 2 days ago, the NFL and Browns were still involved in their own investigations. Right. And we've seen it countless times, as you said, with the NFL, where even if charges aren't pursued or filed or whatever that might be.
Mike Hall Jr. last year.
Mike Hall Jr.
He was suspended five games without any charges. So.
You're involved in something, and how the NFL, in their investigation, or the Browns in their investigation, come up with something that is deemed suspension worthy, when the legal process says,
right,
not enough is there to pursue anything. I'm not a legal expert. I only watch the show Suits. I still don't understand a single thing about law. All I know is that Harvey and Mike were, a great comedic duo in a drama. So that's all I really know. Look, suspension could still come. The thing in my head right now that's running through this, what happened with a lot of the guys at the top of the second round? What type of contract did they get, Ryan?
Guaranteed contracts, man.
Fully guaranteed contracts that you don't see in the second round.
Yeah, first time ever was Higgins for the Houston Texans, wide receiver. He got fully guaranteed, and then everyone held out because they wanted their fully guaranteed. So
yeah, Carson Schlesinger, the Browns got his. That one never really caused any issues or anything. But Quinshon, it seemed like there was that sticking point with the fully guaranteed contract, and it felt like he was the one that was holding up the guys behind him getting that.
Right.
But then this happened, and all of that went out the window. With the charges being not even pursued, I don't know. I just feel like the story isn't over, and the charges were just no build or not pursued, basically, with Isaiah Bond, and they signed him.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty easy. Yeah, I think probably easier to sign a guy that went undrafted and kind of a let's see.
Yeah.
This is definitely a drafted guy, one of your top 3 picks that you made. But still, something says they might still try to pursue a fully guaranteed contract. And they shouldn't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he has a leg to stand on there.
He doesn't have a leg to stand on. I just think that it's just weird that happened so fast with Isaiah Bond. And like when Quinshawn had that, like there's still not conversations with the Browns, and like even talk of conversations between the Browns and Quinshawn after he basically went through the same situation in just different legal terminology.
Sure. I mean, I think that Isaiah Bond was kind of afterthought now, especially with teams gearing up for the second preseason game. They're not looking for a guy who's in legal trouble, but somebody like Andrew Berry, who sometimes they do laser eyes, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the dude tries to just always get guys in on the team. And so for him to go this angle, I've mentioned a few times on the pod that like he's still a free agent out there, and he's somebody that I would have pursued if this legal situation did clear up, and which it has. So I personally think it's a wonderful move. I mean, like I said, I thought he was a late second round pick, and he also was dropping in the draft a little bit too, because he talked a lot of smack saying he was going to break the 40 time record for the combine and didn't. He ran a great 4.39, which is sub 440 is amazing. I love it. We'll see. I mean, especially with a position that we need, is not solidified at all, other than Jerry Jeudy and hopefully Cedric Tillman, but with the word hopefully there. I have no problems with it. I'm excited to get Isaiah Bond on this team. So,
I mean, if Judkins, from a football standpoint, Judkins and Bond on this team, okay, like that is the talent you're looking for. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there's a lot of thoughts swirling around in my head that don't like any of this, and I understand the legal process. Trust me, I understand enough when it means no charges are going against someone, like it's not going to be on their permanent record or things like that. But people got themselves in a situation that got them into that point of having to go through a legal process that, yes, ended up on the right side for them. But we tend to take a chance on a lot of those guys.
Sure do. And it's unfortunate they put us in these predicaments, to choose morality over football. But here we are yet again on two different guys in the last 2 hours.
And trust, I know a lot of people, if you're listening to this or if you see this later on, you're going to say like, well, you shouldn't be an NFL fan if you're worried about morality, like being, balancing morality and being an NFL fan. That's fine if that's how you see it, because that's how the NFL has made us feel, like numb to having morality in those circumstances. It hasn't made me numb. I'm sorry. Like, I love football. I love the NFL. I love Red Zone. Like, I love keeping tabs on everything going on. I love fantasy football, everything that goes along with it. But I'm just someone that, like, the morality aspect of it will never go away. Sure. So, like, something just doesn't feel right. And yeah, if Judkins and Bond help us win, people will probably say you're just being a hypocrite, because by that point, you're just going to care that the Browns won and those guys are winning. I mean, I always felt uneasy. Like it helped a little bit that he was a local kid, but I always felt uneasy with the Kareem Hunt thing. It definitely helped us. And I saw a guy not just succeed on the field. I saw a guy like working on himself, his image, like who he really wanted to present himself as off the field. And being a local kid, like he was around more and there was more local cameras on him. So we got a chance to kind of see that redemption story. I'm all about a redemption story. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, Judkins is running for 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Like, I feel like all of that other stuff just goes away. It doesn't go away. Does it ease it a little bit? I'd be lying if I said it didn't.
Right. I mean, this is not a fun subject to talk about.
No,
It's
like, you
no
can
matter
tell,
what
like-
you say, you're on, you got to really go on the fence here. The problem with Kareem Hunt was, there was video evidence.
Yes,
The obvious video
yes.
evidence. He was immediately cut from the Chiefs and face a suspension, all that things. With these guys, there's no evidence. They're no build. Like it's such a touchy situation. Like I am never, I'm a former police officer. Like at no point am I ever one to advocate for a victim as a liar. Never. So I've seen some of the worst things ever. And I'm not, but also like I have to go with what the
legal process says.
exactly. And
Yeah.
these guys are no build or innocent, or there's not enough evidence, or
Charges aren't even pursued.
Exactly. So I mean, all I can go with these guys, because there is no evidence, is they're on the team. I pray that they keep their nose to the ground and nothing happens again. And if there's a pattern of this, get the heck out of my city. So
Yeah.
I mean, but
that's probably the best way to put it.
It's a really touchy subject, and it's really difficult to maneuver around these things. I just wish these situations would not be a part of my football team, but unfortunately they are.
I mean, you look back at a guy like Josh Gordon, like as talented as a guy like that was, and yes, I know everybody says it, in today's NFL, like he wouldn't be as in trouble as he was back then, because weed is like legal or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's not something that's tested for, however they word it in the NFL. I get that, but at that time it was, and he knew that, but he couldn't stay away.
Right.
Couldn't stay away from the substances. That's just, and he put himself in a position that cost himself a longer term, strong career. Because when he was on the field,
he's one of the best I've ever seen.
One of the best wide receivers I've ever seen, and not just to put on orange and brown.
Sure, but I mean,
like, that dude had everything there for him. So, like, if you cannot stay away from putting yourselves in these situations, whether you do something or not, but you're like there, and that keeps coming up, you're not going to be here very long.
Right.
And maybe this is my hesitation to be excited, about this news today is, and maybe it's Deshaun Watson based.
Yeah, and I mean,
because like that was the ultimate test of
Yeah.
morality and NFL fandom, because at the time he was, without those allegations and those 22, the number, many lawsuits of around sexual assaults, sexual abuse, whatever, just inappropriate sexual behavior. Without that, like, you felt like you were getting a quarterback upgrade over Baker Mayfield. Talent wise, from what you had seen, Watson seemed like an upgrade. I never wanted him here when that talk started floating around, and it became very close, and even denied the Browns one day and signs back with them because he was dropped with a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract the very next day. Like, I never felt good about that. And maybe that's because there is no outside of those lawsuits being paid off is a bad term. I can't think of the
settled outside of
settled.
Court.
Yeah. There it is. The words settled outside of court. It just there's never been a resolution, but there is kind of at least information here and legal resolution.
Sure.
To a case here. So maybe I'm unfairly looking at it. Again, it's all about, can you keep your nose to the grindstone, stay out of situations like that in the future that get you alleged of being in trouble, whatever it looks like. Can you stay out of that? Not just be an impact on the field, but off the field and in the community.
Sure.
That's how you show that stuff wasn't who you really are. It's not who we thought Quinshon was. As Ohio State fans, definitely not who we thought Quinshon was.
Yeah, and I mean, and this goes to something else a little bit, recently in the news with, our leader, our captain, our second highest paid, defensive end in the NFL.
Yeah.
Getting another speeding ticket, which is, I mean, he's got
so
many. It's
7 or 8,
which is I
can't. How many has he
imagine.
gotten out of?
I mean, he rolled his car. So we have the guy at the top, not speeding is not that big of a deal to me. I'm glad. I mean, until obviously something bad happens, then it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It was at 3 a.m. after a game. Nonetheless, like, you are the leader. We have our rookie quarterback with 2 different speeding tickets in the past month and a half, and you're showing the example. So, like, I don't have a ton of confidence in the locker room right now with structure and
leadership,
the example that these young guys need to see, and that's what scares me as well.
I will say that Jameis did give me a name for my fantasy football team. So
Jameis
is Leadfoot.
There you go. Jameis is a great leader. He would be wonderful in the locker room.
Yeah. It's just, it's frustrating because, look, it's illegal to go over whatever speed limit is. We know people do. We know that there are certain graces given.
Sure.
I'm sure you can attest to this. There are certain graces given within certain miles per hour at certain points, as our police force is out and keeping an eye on our roadways, whether it's main roadways or highways, whatever it might be. But going like 40 over, 50 over, and going triple digits.
Yeah, it's
excessive. He's done it multiple times, gotten tickets multiple times, and continues to do that.
And rode your car with a passenger in it. Like, you're lucky to be alive. And eat some humble pie a little bit, bud.
It really helps that you're the best defensive player in the entire league because
you're rich. Go run a racetrack. Like, if you want to go fast, there's ways to do it that aren't going to possibly jeopardize you or, the community.
If you're Isaiah Bond and you did that 3 times, you'd be gone.
I mean, yeah. Sure.
3 times like that it was heard about, whether it was a ticket was given or not, 3 instances, you'd be gone. So I'm not saying I want Myles Garrett off this team. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is exactly what Ryan just said. There's no example of how to be professional.
Right.
And that doesn't just mean what you do on a football field. I know that that's all we care about, and the blinders go on as soon as September 7th hits and we see that ball kicked off for the NFL season. I get that. But if you can't be available and you constantly put yourself in these situations, injuries are one thing, but off the field issues and not being available to your team when you are billed and at least said to be a leader. I don't consider Myles Garrett to be a leader of this team. I just think he's the best defensive player in the league and the best defensive player on this team and is going to wreck games.
Yeah.
I know that that's going to happen, but I don't call him a leader.
I think he leads in that way. That's not a leader in the sense of, setting the example other than just on the field.
There's a leader? Denzel Ward.
Nick Chubb.
Yep. That didn't get signed back here.
Didn't.
All I've heard is Denzel Ward has looked the best he's ever looked in camp. But guess what? He's been there since day 1 of offseason workouts when he didn't have to be. And everybody always gives the excuse that they're voluntary. Speaks more volumes when you're there at voluntary than it does when you're just there when it's mandatory and you could get fined for not being there.
Right.
This team needs to all of these stories are going, can either lead you one direction or the other. And really the norm behind all of these tends to lead down the direction of where everybody expects this team to go this year. And that's, expecting them to be very similar to 3-14 last year. There's too much talent on this team to be 3-14. Do I think that they're a Super Bowl contender or they're going to make a run? No, I don't. But 3-14, 4-13, being that type of team, there's too much talent on this team to do that.
I don't know, but this schedule, man, it's going to be.
Well, and I understand that. Like,
there's a lot of talent, of course, but there's also a lot of holes and there's a questionable scheme. So
there's a difference between okay, your talent does show up, they play their best, and you're playing against a better team, and their best is just better than your best,
right?
And you lose that way. We've seen it too many times with this team that they don't just lose because the other team is better. They lose because certain talented players aren't available to them. They lose because certain talented players don't show up. They don't perform.
Mental mistakes and penalties.
Mental mistakes, and you come out of the game saying the Browns can hang with that team, but they beat themselves today. Said that way too many times last season. And if you look at it, a knock against Kevin Stefanski, outside of his first year here where they were 12th in penalties, and that's still top 15 in the league, they've been top 10 the last few years. Like the last, what is it? He's going into his 6th or 7th year as a coach.
Too many for me.
But however, like the last 5 or 6 years, they've been top 10 in penalties.
Yeah.
And one of the worst teams in pre-snap penalties. Everybody's saying that they're focusing on them.
It's on me. That's
and
what
they're
going to hear. It's on me.
Yeah, you're going to
I
hear
got to
those
work on
same.
that. It's on me.
Yeah,
so.
we got to be better. I got to be better. I don't want to hear that this year. All I'm hearing from all the players is, well, it's been a point of emphasis. And yet we're still hearing that those penalties are happening in practice and in training camp. And Joe Flacco coming to the thing like, oh, yeah, we had a couple like pre-snap things. And like, there's been a point of emphasis. Why is it not? What is not clicking with the message? What's not clicking with the message that don't speed on the highway in triple digits?
Right.
What's not actually getting through to these guys? Is it the person giving the message? Is it the message being given? Is it, stuff we're not hearing about and we'll hear about come January, February, and March from all of the insiders about why the season went off the rails, and some like big scathing article that we just par for the course. Part of the history, part of the, as you know, Tony Grossi calls it the 100 Years War. One of the guys has covered it forever. Mary Kay, I don't know that she has a terminology for it, but like they've covered this forever. Feels like they've been writing the same stories with just different names, and
because they have been.
Yeah. Well, what else has happened with this team? Well, Shedeur Sanders, after a great performance, I would say good to great performance. And I like that he was more, he was definitely more critical of himself than anybody else was willing to be, because, if you're really into Shedeur Sanders, you're going to push that narrative. I love Shedeur. I love the aunties. I love the Shedeur aunties. Like, I'm all about Shedeur Sanders. And if he can become the guy here, that would be amazing, because I'm a fan of his. But just the constant back and forth and fighting, and people saying that this oblique injury, like he's being told to fake it so like he doesn't get reps, and the Browns are trying to ruin his career, and like it's just, I'm so over this, and we haven't played a regular season game yet.
Yeah.
I'm so over all of it.
I mean, first, my reaction for the game was Shedeur had me pumped up, man. I was excited.
If you look at some of those throws, like that's not like you can look at, oh, he's playing against the two. Like, I'm sorry, but you're doing that at the NFL level. All these guys made it to the NFL for a reason, or were given a chance to the NFL for a reason. The windows he was throwing into, you don't always see.
Right.
I'm just going to say that.
I haven't seen that. I mean, I haven't seen a Browns quarterback do that in a preseason, regular season game in a little while. So, I mean, he was slinging it. I did not like him backpedaling so much, running backwards. I mean, that's to be expected when you don't have a super great line in front of you, though. I mean, he didn't have any other starters. So, I mean, I think that'll be fixed up. I love that he was using his legs, utilizing. He got a couple first downs. I mean, he took command. He was smart. I was on the Shedeur train, man. This is really unfortunate.
A big thing for me was the pre-snap penalties or lack thereof.
Right.
And you didn't see those I didn't see any until the third quarter.
Okay.
When like the third and fourth string offensive line was in there. And like, I think someone said he played behind 3 to 4 different variations of an offensive line throughout that game.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But the operation, the getting the play in the huddle, like what people said he needed to work on, the talent on the field is there, but a guy that's never called plays, never been in a huddle, never had to make sure everybody's on the same page, making the checks, getting out of the huddle in time, having enough time on the play clock to make the checks, make the audibles you need to. I saw pretty clean operation there with a big question going into it, and then come out on Wednesday and you could see in some of those stretching videos, something just didn't feel right. I don't know how it happened, what he's doing that's causing these injuries to kind of happen, a sore arm and an oblique, what's happening, how the hamstring injuries keep happening. But it adds another layer to, are we actually going, like, we all knew that we weren't ever going to actually find out if any of these guys can be the guy this year.
Yeah, I'm panicking.
Yep.
As much as I talked about how great he did, and I think we're screwed, man. Hopefully this is quick. Hopefully, I mean, you need your oblique when you throw. I mean, the twisting and stuff when you're tossing, it's very important. I hope and pray that Dillon Gabriel is, surprises me and a lot of other Cleveland fans and plays well Sunday. Hopefully he's healthy enough to play. I haven't heard fully a report if he was cleared yet to play.
Yeah, I mean, and the coach wouldn't commit to it today. And like he was the last 2 days, he's been in on 11-on-11,
Yeah.
like, all like team drills and stuff. Nathan Zagura, who is the color analyst for the radio network, alongside Andrew Siciliano, he said on Cleveland Browns Daily today, it's a show that I run back at the ranch, as they say, on the board. So like I'm always like tuned in more, and
Right.
and he was like asked like, will he start? Like, will Dillon Gabriel actually play this weekend? And he went to the I'm cautiously optimistic, and that's how he said it.
That was Kevin?
That was Zagura.
Oh, okay.
That was Zagura saying that. Kevin like just wouldn't commit to anything.
Yeah.
Like we got to see how, like you just went to the classic coach line. We got to see how the guys come through and who's available. But
Guys, we're gonna suck this year. I'm sorry.
just get ready.
It's gonna be awful. We have a 40-year-old quarterback with $4 million, Kenny Pickett, who's got the Burger King tiny hands from the early 2000 commercials. And you remember that commercial?
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm embarrassed to eat a Whopper because my hands are too small." That's Kenny Pickett. And we got two rookies that they obviously love one over the other, and everyone else loves the other one. So I mean, we're supposed to have. The quote saying, if you have more than one quarterback, you have none. We have 4 or 5. We have 6 literally on this team. One that should never see the light of day in Cleveland again, and Deshaun Watson, but that's just a personal preference. But even they're saying he's looking relatively sprier on the sidelines and running around. And
Mary Kay has been like putting people out to like trying to prep people in case that happens.
Because it sounds like he might play eventually in this season, especially if we
might set the record for the most
injuries.
quarterbacks played behind center in one NFL season.
I think we already have that. So
well, yeah,
we'll
but
just break it. So,
but unfortunately, like none of those stats actually count. So like I'm sure it's the most ever in a training camp, and you're not. I know that they're not going to sign one, even if Tyler Huntley could be the quarterback that plays all 4 quarters on Saturday.
I mean, and not to sound weird, but he is a former Brown. He knows the playbook, and he was a former Pro Bowl quarterback for the Ravens. And I know that's, whatever, but he is. So,
he is.
I mean, that's an accolade.
On the record.
That's an accolade. So,
I mean, if Dillon doesn't play on Saturday, I think like everybody feels like he's going to, but
sure.
Again, Zagura said 55-45.
Now, what if he plays, but he doesn't do well or
you already know
level up par to Shedeur? Do they go with he's injured and going through it?
Dude,
or?
I have to do
There's gonna be
a show on Sunday. I don't want to do that show, man.
It's gonna be nuts. I mean, like I said, I'm a Browns fan. He's a Brown. I want a quarterback. He's unknown. Go play. Go win the job, dude. Go. Prove Daryl right or wrong in saying he's the worst quarterback he's ever seen in Cleveland, and that's saying something because there's been some really bad quarterbacks in Cleveland. So
you want a taste of what it's going to look like either way. This is just my no, I don't have any insight or anything like that. This is just how my life has gone. If Dillon Gabriel plays on Saturday and plays well and kind of looks similar to how you should come out of the game feeling similar to how you felt coming out of the Shedeur game.
Sure.
And like has similar stats or maybe plays even a little bit better. Well, this is what's going to happen. The people that don't like Shedeur are going to be all about it, and they're going to come out of the woodwork acting like they've been the biggest Dillon Gabriel fan since day one, and they actually have not said the word Dillon Gabriel at all. Or Dillon Gabriel plays on Saturday, doesn't play well, and then, everybody that's in favor of Shedeur are going to be like, hey, look, that's why, you guys are wrong for drafting him. And then people that still don't like Shedeur are going to be like, well, Dillon had a rougher experience, and he's coming back from injury. And trust me, I know how this goes. There's going to be no in between.
Yeah.
There's no common sense. There'll be common sense in ESPN Cleveland from 10 to 12 on Sunday morning. At least it's going to try to be. But there's no common sense in any of this.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to be sensible, like it just, you're shut out by the people on either side of the fence. In this business, they say that you're not supposed to be on the fence. But I've learned from a guy like Emmett Golden that it's okay to be on the fence from time to time if that's how you truly feel.
Sure.
Or to bring the sensible take. Like, that's okay to do that if that's how you feel. You don't have to have the hottest take ever. Let's see what happens. Again, if he plays well, people are gonna, the people that don't like Dylan are gonna say, well, Shedeur didn't even get a chance, and they made him look good. And it's just a preseason game, guys. So you can't put that much stock in. I swear someone's going to say if he plays well, it's just preseason. You can't put much stock in that. He's going against this and this and this.
I'm interested to see who
who did the same thing last Friday.
Right. I'm interested to see who Kevin puts in with him as well. Is there an offensive lineman that's starting? Is Cedric Tillman going to go out there? Because that does significantly alter, in my opinion, the results if you put better talent out there as well. So
we'll see. If he doesn't go, if he's not able to go, then
I hope he is.
I hope he is, because look, not having at least a initial resolution to this quarterback thing going into the season is not good.
Nope.
You can spin it however you want. It opens the door for Shedeur when he gets back from injury. It does this, it does that. If Dylan can't go and we don't get a full picture of him in a game-like format, it's already hurting Kenny Pickett that he can't play in a game, or at least start a game or play in a preseason game and see how he operates the offense and gets through all the little things you need to as a quarterback. It's already hurting him to become the starter, because it seemed like two competitions at this point. Flacco and Pickett for the starter, and, Pickett, Dylan, and Shedeur for the backup role, which I don't even know if Shadeur's ever been in this competition.
Yeah.
Pickett's already being hurt by being injured. And there's unfortunately it happened. There's nothing he can do, and they're trying to do right by him and get him healthy. But then let's say that Gabriel now can't go out there. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know. The only thing you know is Flacco's going to be named the starter, which is as close to a lock as anything ever been, without having someone come out from the team and say it.
I mean, and I think that's a good thing. As much as I beat down and say that these rookies need to play, I'm not saying throw them to the wolves. I'm not saying, especially our first 5 games are really tough. I don't expect a rookie to be thrown in there, because a game like that could mentally harm them. We've seen time and time again quarterbacks be thrown out when they're not ready. And I'm not saying necessarily to do that. However, I'm saying they do need to play. And I think all 4 of these quarterbacks will play this year. Joe Flacco's 40 years old. How healthy can he be? He's not going to play a 17 game season. He's not.
If they don't, then it's the craziest Browns season you've ever seen. If you don't see multiple quarterbacks play.
For sure. So odds are we're going to see these rookies play. We want to give them the best amount of time to prepare so that they can succeed.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation, like I said, because it's only a season that you have. You have 2 first-round picks. You're going to take a quarterback if you don't have one. With Jacksonville, I saw a tweet today, Mark Long.
I did.
From Jaguars and Gainesville. He said, worst Jaguars offensive practice I've witnessed since Blake Bortles' 5 interception night. At least 7 drop passes, 10 penalty flags, several sacks, and sloppiness all around. And we have their first-round pick. So if that's a top, maybe Jaguars will just have first overall pick and we won't have any of these problems, because we can just take our quarterback and then take Caleb Downs when we have another top 5 pick with the Browns. But if for some reason we don't have a top 3, maybe 1 pick, they have the assets to go get who they want.
They do.
So
yeah. And
I thought that tweet was pretty funny. So.
In the most ideal world, or the perfect world, which will never exist.
Right.
So if this circumstance happens, you better start looking for an apocalypse or something. You find out that Shedeur or Dylan, even Kenny, if that looks like that's a guy you want to sign past this year to be the guy, you get resolution on one of those guys. Looks like they can be the future, and you can use those top picks next year on actual talent young talent.
I'm drooling for Caleb Downs, man. Drooling.
Dude.
I think I've mentioned him 100 times, and I'll keep mentioning him. He's just,
man, we could use a guy like that.
yeah. I mean, rightfully, I think he could. I mean, he's not going to go first overall, but he's probably most likely going to be the first non-quarterback. So
we have a guy that's not as talented, but can do similar things in the box in Grant Delpit. He's not ever always available.
Yeah, and with Caleb Downs, his mind is the thing. Like, I personally think if he went into the NFL today, he would be a top 5 safety just because he's a physical freak. You saw the several touchdown saving plays he had in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
But also his mind. He's an encyclopedia. He knows. He's if you've ever heard anybody talk about Luke Kuechly, the linebacker for the Panthers, same kind of thing where the study of the film and he is going to be prepared, and he is going to not only make sure he's prepared, but the guy next to him is prepared too. And I think that is just invaluable. That is a leader. That's a guy I want on my team because he's just an all around. He leads by example. He's just, I'm not going to say perfect, but for me, he's perfect. So,
well, and 2 guys we haven't even talked about, and I think it's a good thing we haven't talked about them, but also a detriment to them that we haven't talked to them or even mentioned their names. Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger.
Yep.
And Schlesinger has even mentioned Luke Kuechly is the guy that he is modeled his game after, and a guy that people say is very similar, that, he can balance being the guy that's going to come hit you, get through blocks or help other guys, help take up blocks and help other guys.
I mean, he's got an engineering degree. Dude's so smart.
Yes. But like he can process, he can call the play and get guys in the right spot. And he's doing that as a rookie.
Yeah.
6 tackles in 13 plays.
Yeah. Wearing the green sticker helmet. I mean,
4 solo out of those 6.
Amazing. I tweeted out this week. I wholeheartedly believe he is going to be defensive rookie of the year. And it's just because, I mean, we found a gem. And like I said, it's so sad that JOK is not with the team right now. And we pray that, somehow he can get back with us. But this guy, I mean, I don't think we're going to blink and we're just going to see a flash, and it's going to be the same similar type of player. So
I think, I mean, the pain, the sadness of missing JOK this year, that could actually increase if we see Carson Schlesinger continue on the track that he's on right now. Because like, if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, Carson Schlesinger is able to do this and very similar to JOK, and like then has these abilities, imagine him next to JOK. Oh man, like we really, we missed out on that. And you're praying for the best for JOK, just as a person.
Sure.
But also, like
professionally,
this is what I know, that he has other aspirations outside of it, and the way that he leads and like goes to other countries.
He does a lot of things in humanitarian things in Africa, and is one of the ambassadors for Africa NFL.
But football is something he loves and he wanted to pursue for a while, and you hope he gets that chance.
Right.
He at least gets that option. Like if he were to choose, his health over everything and like go on to the humanitarian things and maybe become like a PR guy or like some sort of like ambassador for Browns football and NFL football and try to spread it globally that way, like I wouldn't have any issues with that because it's a person making the best decision for themselves. But I just hope that he's given the option to be able to play again.
Yeah.
So, him and everything I've heard, Mason, I know it's just training camp and you had your training camp darlings.
He's going to be so good. I'm so excited.
Like everything, like even against the I know that they have some injuries along their offensive line right now, but against the defending Super Bowl champs, who people say have the deepest team in the NFL, he's wreaking havoc just like Myles Garrett, and actually helping Myles Garrett wreak havoc because you can't just focus on Myles. There's guys coming up the middle. So now your head's on a swivel and like, where are they coming from? And look, offensive linemen, I don't know how blocking schemes work all the time. I can't break all that down for you. What I know is offensive linemen, when they get out of their stance, where are they going? They're kind of they're trying to stay where they are, or they're going backwards and like trying to keep a guy going around their quarterback. So they're on their heels. The more you put an offensive lineman on their heels, the more detriment you're going to cause to the opposing offense. And that's what they did. I saw Philadelphia Eagle reporters saying this defensive front didn't really let the Eagles offensively practice because they were wreaking havoc. So it's not just something they did against their own team. We saw it against the Panthers, and you saw it against the biggest test. So you saw the Browns belonged on the field with the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah,
They don't have the depth to match up with that. They don't have the culture. They don't have, all these question marks around, like, is this just a team of individuals? Like, are they going to come together? Will the defense have to carry everything this year? Will the offense be able to produce anything? All those questions put the Browns where they are.
Right.
But skill-wise, effort-wise, like, you have to give the coaching staff credit for that they showed that they belonged on that field, and the offense learned from day one to the next day. And they weren't just going to be punked like they were the day before.
I mean, it's practice. I'll give them credit once we start winning some games.
Well, yeah, I know, like,
less penalties on the field, stuff like that.
But the unfortunate thing is you can only go off of, like, where you're at in the process to get to the season.
Right.
And
like you said, I mean, this defense, I unfortunately think this team and the success of this team is going to solely ride on this defense. We have some great players, some high promising rookies, all pro, one of the best corners in the game, the best defensive lineman in the game, period. Can we get it all together? Can we get it back to where it was 2023 football, where we're the best defense in the NFL? I don't know. Hopefully, a lot of question marks going this year. Really hard schedule. And the one thing that's got me excited though is that defensive line for sure. I'm so excited for Mason Graham. I think him and Mike Hall Jr. are just going to open things up because they're so fast. They are mean and they're great at stopping the run, which has been just a thing that we have never been good at since I can ever remember. And then we have Myles freaking Garrett on the edge who's just going to destroy your left tackle and then your quarterback. I hope that they cause havoc and give less time for quarterbacks, less time for offenses to, for receivers to get open and things like that. But it's going to be a tall task, especially for 17 games.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't keep things realistic and keep things sensible. I know this might bring the mood down of being kind of optimistic or what we've presented. If you go off of last year, remember the Browns had really good practice against Minnesota.
Right.
And it looked like the Browns were on a trajectory, not necessarily for 14-3 like Minnesota did. No one saw that coming for them, especially with Sam Darnold. And after losing J.J. McCarthy, like just before they came in here for joint practices. But the Browns handled the Minnesota Vikings. They went on to go 14-3. We went on to be 3-14. So, like you said, It's just practice. Again, we can only analyze based on the information we have in front of us. But the ultimate evaluation piece is wins and losses. Whether fair or unfair, this is a results-based business, and that's exactly how this team and this season is going to be judged. We're not saying that they're going to win a bunch of games, but you'd rather see a team surprise you and play better than expected than match what everybody expects them to be or be even worse and match what they did last year.
Definitely.
Because no one wants to go through that type of thing again. Yes, you need infusion of young talent. Yes, you're going to need some high-level draft picks, especially in the first round, to get on some rookie contracts, all of those types of things for all the money. That's got to be figured out by the front office. But if you if you are a team that has a culture and things like that, when you lose pieces because of contracts and money and all of that, the teams that have established culture still contend for things and are still good football teams because the culture is there. And as soon as you walk in that door, if you don't meet those expectations, your ass is kicked back out the door. That's how it works. I was going to try to get into Ohio State camp because I said, let's go camping and go Bucks. Really, the biggest question there is still the quarterback. They're not announcing that. Other teams are announcing quarterbacks if they have the quarterback battle. In the AP poll, the Buckeyes are ranked 3 behind Penn State. I only understand that. Like, I don't see why the AP is giving James Franklin any sort of confidence, but I understand it because of the talent they brought back and the expectations. Boy, the heavy expectations on Drew Aller this season at Penn State.
Yeah. I mean, they brought in some 2-3 stud receivers. I mean, they brought in, I think, one of the best transfers receivers out of Syracuse. I mean, he's going to have the weapons this year. He doesn't have, I mean, last year he had Tyler Warren, he had Nick Singleton, and he had Katron Allen as running backs. So 2 really good stud running backs who I think could be top 5, both of them collectively, kind of like Judkins and Henderson were last year for Ohio State, kind of the same roles, both get about 1,000 yards apiece here. They're going to be really good. They got some good receivers. They lost some really big pieces as well. I mean, dude on defensive line.
I know
Carter. No,
yeah,
I am blanking, which is embarrassing because he was Abdul Carter. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So Abdul Carter was gone. Obviously Tyler Warren, also a first round pick. I think they'll be pretty good, but I mean, all that doesn't matter because we play as Ohio State, the number 3 team, we play the number 1 team in week 1. So when we win or if we lose, that'll change drastically. I mean, obviously, if number 3 team beats Ohio State, or number 1 team, they're going to jump up to number 1. Yeah, it's all 8 people. It doesn't really matter too because I mean, Texas is an underdog in this right now with betting. I think
it's 2.5 now. It was 3.5. I think it's 2.5 now.
Okay. Nonetheless, like this is the first time where a number 3 team is projected from Vegas to win against the number 1 team.
It helps that they're at home and that always is going to kind of go in your favor. I know in those betting lines, I don't bet, but I'm trying to understand it because it is part of the lexicon of what we do now in sports talk. Like you have to give lines and you hate it.
I hate it.
I hate it too.
Hate it, all of it.
Yeah.
I think it like I mentioned this before, but I think it it hurts the integrity of the game, and I wish it was out of Ohio because obviously now we have a couple pitchers in Cleveland as well who are if it wasn't around, it wasn't here, it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, I'm sure people can do it, nonetheless. It wouldn't be as easy. I don't know.
It wouldn't be as easy.
I'm probably being called a nerd right now.
But changing those laws in Ohio isn't like that. Doesn't you're basically giving those 2 pitchers an out. Like again. All of that's we don't even know if it's true or not.
Right.
Like they're still in the alleged investigation process with their stuff. The lockers were cleaned out. I was told by or Andre's at least said publicly. Andre Nada said publicly that was more so to like they're not here. We have to move past this. Like we can't let that feeling of like loss of a teammate and things like that continue to linger. So he thinks that part of it was because of that, and not just because like they know something is coming down.
Sure.
But if they did what they are being investigated for, they knew MLB regulations.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Just because the law and where the state and or the city in which you play says one thing, the governing body of professional sports, which rules a lot of things, monopolizes a lot of things here in the country and in the world, those rules trump all.
I mean, what's stopping me or somebody else, an opposing fan, from making these dumb little obscure bets against Aaron Judge or someone like that, and it gets flagged? Like I've wondered that. I don't know where this goes. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I think the allegations are 1 or 2 certain pitches, like at a certain time. It's really hard.
Yeah,
I don't understand how they can.
None of it feels good.
It's weird.
I feel like we went from being a sports talk show to Legal News Daily. No. I couldn't think of it. Like I don't know of legal terms to put in for VTL to turn that into it, but
that's all good.
Yeah, we definitely had a legal show today that I didn't expect to do, but look, we just react to what's going on. What's going on out there. If you missed it, Isaiah Bond is expected to be signed by the Cleveland Browns. He announced on his social media after the charges against him for sexual assault were no billed. I mean, the grand jury saw not enough evidence to keep the charges going and go to court or anything like that. He was a projected late first, early second round pick that went undrafted and is now being signed several months later and far behind in the process. So probably a practice squad guy. If they sign him, they really believe in him, he'll get onto their practice squad because he won't have enough time to catch up. Quinshon Judkins, also the charges will not be pursued in South Florida. Andy Slater in South Florida, one of the news reporters down there, he said that, the state attorney said there was video that the alleged, like the bruises and stuff that the accuser brought to the police several days after the alleged incident weren't there. So again, legalities are out there. Quinshon, I guess the next steps is to get signed, get in, and get caught up himself. Browns play against the Eagles this Saturday. They kind of split the 2 days in Philadelphia. It seems like 1-1 in terms of how they played, the defense definitely dominated both days. Dylan Gabriel, will he play on Saturday? We'll react to all of that. Plus, hopefully we have a quarterback named, and hopefully Julian Sayin is officially named, because it just feels like it's Julian Sayin. And
It is.
just,
It is. So.
Just Ryan Day, just come out and say something that, like, this gamesmanship with Texas.
He will soon. I mean, he just wants to button down a few things.
Let's not take this up until the last day thinking like you're gonna force Texas to be all surprised. Like,
I think it's more of a locker room thing. I think some guys like Lincoln, some guys like Julian. And I really think that he wants to put it down to the wire. I expect early next week by Wednesday, hopefully, for him to announce. But I personally think it'll be Julian. Vegas thinks it'll be Julian, but Lincoln has really put up a fight. So I'm confident that if for some reason Julian gets hurt or he's not the guy, like, I think Lincoln can do it. So regardless, I'm really happy right now with
Keenholz or Kienholz?
Some say Keenholz, some say Kienholz. I've heard Keenholz only, but then Ken Carmen says Kienholz. So I don't know. So it's
I always pride myself on good
call
pronunciations.
Lincoln K. I don't know. I mean,
Hey,
nonetheless,
just call him Lincoln.
Yeah,
it's a strong name.
Yeah,
I should know all about that. Having a Lincoln in my own household. That's
there you go.
2-year-old. Great kid.
My kids are crazy, so
I didn't want to go there, but
I will.
Yeah, he's wild, but he's extremely smart. That's
There
for
you go.
sure. Sometimes that's what helps him become very wild around the house. But those are kind of what we'll touch on next week. We're going to do our show on Wednesday next week, as we want to congratulate, and I don't know if there'll be sadness or anything like that, but congratulate the Tellups as their firstborn will be going off to college next Thursday.
Oh,
Really,
my
really
my wife is sad, but she'll survive.
You're losing the camera, man.
We'll talk about that.
How far is the trek?
Oh.
Really far, right?
Yeah, he's going to Cleveland State. I passed it.
okay.
Never mind.
So he's living in the backyard.
I passed it on my way to the studio.
For some reason, I thought it was more than just 20 minutes away.
No, it's 26.
26.
He'll be home for dinner Sunday, so
He might be.
He'll be showing up every day if he can't get
that's
food.
smart, dude. You should do that.
Hey, man.
Also, raid the cupboard at your parents' house for your own house. That's what I've learned when I was in college.
He's taking notes over there. In the
Yeah, he definitely is. I wouldn't know because I went to Cleveland State, but I lived at home, so I took
There you
advantage of the home
There you
even
go.
more than.
He took it to his room.
Yeah, I took everything. I took all the food in my room. But that is going to wrap it up for this edition. A little bit of a longer edition, but look, there was a lot of news to react to today, and I think we're going to handle it as best as we can. We're not here to make all the jokes. Like, if you're here for the satire, or you want satire, there's shows for that. If you want reasonability, our show is one of those shows for that. There's other shows like it. If you want hot takes and just yelling on a mic, other shows for that. That's the beauty of this world. There's podcasts and shows about everything with every kind of tone you could be into. So for our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tellup, Ryan Mosser, my co-host to my left here in the studio, I am Kevin R, reminding all of you out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all, 3,000.
I'm excited for Buckeyes football this year.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm-
Also, congratulations to Greenies, to the winners of the Greenie Sport 2 Muni-Luck packs. I will message you personally and DM you, and then I'll send those out to you. And also just look on our Twitter page for future contests. Courtesy of Greenies.
GreenieSportsCards.com. Get all the information about them. They're live every Tuesday on social media, so make sure to follow them as well. Congrats to the winners, and we'll have another contest very, very soon. We thank the help that Greenie Sports Cards gives us. Like you said, Buckeye football.
I'm ready,
I might
man.
be in Columbus for week 1.
Dude, nice. I'm jealous. I have a wedding. I have to shoot a wedding, so.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can say just yet, but I might be. I may or may not be in our state's capital that weekend. So we were closing out the show, but maybe not. Don't talk about it. Be about it, and live life all gas, no brakes. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on the Voice of the Land, the Big Play Network, partner with LPV Productions, brought to you by Greenie Sports Cards.